Hello YouTube, CivilianSnowman here, and it's time for another DVD and Blu Ray update. Now obviously you've already seen my birthday update video. This video isn't actually going to contain any of the discs that you saw in that video. This is purely for the stuff that I've got since my last DVD update and has nothing to do with my birthday. So yeah, let's just launch straight into it. The first disc I got was in Morrison's, really cheap, it was like £4 or something, and that's My Bloody Valentine 3D, it's the remake. The reason I wanted to see it is it looked like a giggle, plus the fact that Jensen Ackles out of Supernatural is in it, and I have a man crush on Jensen Ackles. I just think he's a great actor, so I thought this would be worth a watch. So I know that it's going to be nothing more than like trashy B-movie, like fun and giggles and all that shit, but yeah, I thought I'd give it a go anyway. So that's My Bloody Valentine 3D. The next disc I got was one that was really cheap as well. It was like £4 or £5 in HMV, and that is Timecrimes. I've never seen it, although I've heard nothing but good things. It's like a science fiction kind of time travel one, but apparently it puts quite an original spin on the whole time travel idea. So I thought it looked worth checking out. Like I said, haven't actually seen it myself, but if the reviews are anything to go by, then it's my sort of thing. I'm really looking forward to watching it. So yeah, there's Timecrimes. Next up is a box set that I was actually saving money for a long time, because I never had the opportunity to see it when it was on television, and that's House Season 5. Now, I'm a huge fan of House. Anybody who's seen my like past DVD collection videos and stuff will know that I've got all of the House box sets. It's one of my favourite shows. I think Hugh Laurie is absolutely brilliant in it, and deserves all the awards and recognition that he receives for his portrayal of Gregory House. This season I've been looking forward to. It looks like it's going to take the show in a slightly different direction, a slightly darker direction. That's just judging by the trailers that I've seen. And another thing is, it's the first one to be rated 18, which is like the English equivalent of an NC-17 in America. So I'm really interested to see like where the show goes in this season. And I just hope that, because I honestly thought the ending of Season 4 was brilliant. I think it really hit an emotional high, and I'm hoping that Season 5 can continue in that vein. This next disc was bought for me as a gift because it was on offer in Morrison's, and that's Raging Bull on Blu Ray. Raging Bull, obviously, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro teaming up again to tell the story, the real life story of Jake LaMotta, the boxer. And it's a great film. I'm sure loads of people, you know, have seen it who are watching this video, so I don't really need to say much about the film. It is fantastic. The transfer on this Blu-ray, with the film being black and white, is very good. The blacks are black, like pitch black. It's very sharp. The detail is unbelievable, especially in the fight scenes. You can see every bead of sweat on Robert De Niro's face. It's unbelievable. So anybody who has the DVD and is wondering whether or not it's worth the upgrade to Blu-ray, it definitely is. Next, I got one of my absolute favourite action movies of all time, and that is Leon, or I think it might be known as The Professional in some places, but I know it's Leon. Basically, it's directed by Luc Besson, stars Jean Reno as a hitman who kind of has to accept a 12-year-old girl named Matilda, and it's Natalie Portman in her first role. He has to accept her into his life after he saves her, and kind of trains her to become an assassin, and it's so well done. It's definitely one of the best films of the 90s. Out of the 90s, I'd probably put it in the top 5. The action is very well done. The Blu-ray transfer is really good, really sharp, and they don't try to get rid of the film grain, which is really nice. So it still has that kind of theatrical feel to it, which really suits it. And this Blu-ray actually contains both the theatrical cut and the director's cut. Now, I didn't know. I've seen Leon hundreds of times since I was a kid. I didn't know that there was a director's cut, and it's like 25 minutes longer. So that's the one I checked out. I have to say that the director's cut is a bit flabbier than the theatrical cut, but it's just as good. It loses nothing. If anything, it's probably slightly better. But yeah, I definitely, if you're watching Leon for the first time, I'd check out the theatrical cut to kind of get a grasp on the story, because the director's cut takes it in a few twisted, dark places. But yeah, Leon is definitely one of the best action films ever made. I absolutely love it. Next, I got Payback, the Mel Gibson movie directed by Brian Helgeland. I wanted this film because I've only ever seen the theatrical cut, which I thought was okay. I didn't think it was brilliant. And this contains both the theatrical cut and the director's cut, which is a bit more violent and all that stuff. You know, there's just... And once you get into the third act, it becomes a completely different movie. Like Chris Christopherson was in the theatrical cut. He's not in the director's cut whatsoever. The third act is completely different. Is it any better than the theatrical cut? Yes and no. It has its moments that are better. There are some pretty smart scenes in it. There's a fight scene at the beginning with his wife, with Mel Gibson and his wife, which is far better in the director's cut than it was in the theatrical cut. Nothing really happened in the theatrical cut. But then... the movie has never been brilliant, you know. It's still a solid action movie. I wouldn't say that the inclusion of the director's cut has made it any better than it was, you know. But if you like it, I'd definitely recommend checking out the different versions. And the Blu Ray transfer is very handsome. It's a very cool looking film, like you know, like the colour timing and everything. It's got that like blue look to it that I really dig in movies, and it's all done justice on Blu Ray. So it's definitely worth picking up Payback. Next, my dad and I went halves on this one, and that is The Last House on the Left, the remake on Blu Ray. Now, this is one I wanted to see. I thought the trailer for this movie was fantastic, with the use of the song Sweet Child of Mine and all that stuff. I thought it looked like it was going to be a really good remake, and to be honest, it's a good film. It's not great, it's not brilliant at all, but it's a solid watch. I was actually quite surprised by the acting of the two parents in the movie. I thought their acting was really good. The actual the group of criminals who basically kick the story in motion, I didn't think they were particularly good. They were kind of a bit generic and predictable. But then again, what do you expect from a remake? But I honestly thought that this was going to be like the remake to kind of buck the trend of mediocrity in Hollywood, but it didn't. And I should have guessed it, really. But it is a solid film. It's a solid watch. Basically about a girl who is raped and is shot by a group of criminals, and then they take refuge unknowingly in her parents' house. She crawls back, her parents find out who the criminals are, and chaos ensues. Basically, in this film, there's just a series of bad decisions on the director's part, such as the inclusion of the microwave scene. Anybody who's seen it will know what I'm talking about. It's not what actually happens in the microwave scene I had a problem with, it's when it happens. Like, the film feels finished, it feels like it's reached its natural conclusion, and you're just ready to kind of, you know, take it off and watch something else, you know? And then it goes into this other scene, which is just completely unnecessary. It should have been a deleted scene. I think it belongs on the cutting room floor, but hey, that's me. Probably spent a bit too much time talking about this film than's really necessary, but I'd recommend it. Any horror fans are going to dig it. It's quite gory, all that stuff. It's got a good story to it, but then again, it is a remake, so the original had a good story to it. And you won't be disappointed, really. If you go in with low expectations, it's just another kind of cool, watchable, enjoyable remake. The next thing I got was Inside, the new French horror movie. I bought this because Martyrs, which I got a while ago and reviewed for YouTube, which is like my most viewed video, nearly 2,000 views. That film has really grown on me. I absolutely love Martyrs now. This is a film that looks like it's in a similar vein. Thought I'd pick it up because I've heard nothing but good things about it. I mean, like, most movie critics have called it a masterpiece of modern horror, so I thought, right, I definitely have to check it out. Basically follows the story of a young pregnant woman who is terrorised by another mad woman, so yeah, could be good. I hope it's, well, it will be good, let's face it. So yeah, that's Inside.